salary. I got a big boy job. I got like a real big boy job where I make more than.
Hey, look at that. My
At least I
microphone
can.
actually works. First try, everybody. Hello, everyone that is
Yay.
watching, and welcome to...
Is it just me, or did he clip out 3 different times?
It did.
What? Did I clip out? No, I don't think I... Maybe to you guys. My microphone was making noise, was doing the whole time.
Sure.
Sure. Listen, audio guy. Clean it up
Works on
later.
my
It's fine.
machine.
All right, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of the Engage Family Gaming Podcast. This is the Tears of the Kingdom edition. So we've been talking about Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom for like, I don't know, like ever. Like basically, since it was announced, we've just, every time there's been a news beat, a little bit of thing, we've been talking about it. I've been fighting with people on the internet about Breath of the Wild nonstop. Rip to all the people that wants to argue with me about it because it's still the best game Nintendo's ever made. But I think maybe we have a challenger, and we're going to talk a little bit about that now. My panel is +1, and we'll talk about what that means in a moment. We have a special guest, a very, very special guest. One of Amanda's favorite people in the whole wide world, I'm guessing.
It's true.
That's a prediction. So, to my right is my good buddy John Tomlinson, the man behind the curtain, the man who's building Legos as we speak. John, show us what you're working with.
I'm still working on the question block. Yeah.
All right.
I'm getting there. And
to
be a while.
his right is Linda Roble, the Mistress of Magnificence, otherwise known as Mom. Linda, show us what you're working with.
It's getting bigger.
I gotta be careful what I say. I gotta be careful what I say. As soon as I said it, I was like, wait, I gotta be careful.
Danger zone.
Linda, good job.
Sorry. Thank you.
Good job. And to start on the bottom row, we'll go clockwise. We have the man from the frozen north, Jeff Walker. Jeff, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and can I just say, being from the frozen north, I learned that Florida weather is not for me.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You don't like 100% humidity?
Yeah, he doesn't like
Wednesday, it was a real feel of 105 degrees.
Oh my gosh. We went in August. I feel that pain.
Ew. To his left, continuing the clockwise, we have our very special guest, and it is Amanda's husband, Michael. Mike, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good.
I'm so excited to have you here because we understand that you have put in a number of hours into Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, the Switch always hides their playtime, right? But it's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
You need to use those parental control app, and it tells you.
I don't think
I haven't tried that yet.
We don't need to know. And continuing the clockwise direction is my very best friend in the whole wide world, Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power. Amanda, how are you?
You know what? Podcast week is my favorite week.
Yep.
So I'm good. I love podcast week. It's my favorite.
Yes, it is. I love podcast week. You know what I really love about podcast weeks? I love podcast week when we have something like really cool to talk about. Because this week a very special thing happened. The biggest game Nintendo has released in a while and will release for a while. It came out last Friday. And that is Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the follow-up to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So we're going to talk about that. But beforehand, there's some, believe it or not, other things have happened in the video gaming space. You would not know that if you were on Twitter, because right now Twitter is just inappropriate statues produced in that game.
A lot of inappropriate statues, like totes
trucks.
and apropes.
Also trucks. Polygon posted a think piece yesterday that compares, I'm kidding you not, it compares Tears of the Kingdom to Truck Simulator 2023. And you know what? It's not a great comparison, but I'm going to allow it because this is how I imagine the pitch going. I think it's just a freelancer who was high, and they sent in a pitch to the editor.
It happens, okay? Life as a game journalist can be kind of miserable.
Oh dear.
I didn't say this, Judge. I live in Connecticut. It's legal here. So it was just I think the game journalist, this freelancer, was high, playing a lot, and they were like, "Listen, I can write you a think piece where I compare these two, but I will follow it up with 12 high quality tweets that you can embed of people who have made trucks in Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And once they got to 12 tweets that they could embed, they were like sold. So that because that we like our interactive media. So this game is bananas. It's taking over the whole world, and I'm loving the trucks because the trucks are wholesome. You know what I mean? Trucks and rocket ships, hot air balloons. There's been some non-wholesome stuff. Nintendo just does not. Nintendo's not going to trust us anymore. I don't think.
Nope.
So
No more UGC for us.
We're going to talk about some other stuff first, and then we're going to finish the back half of the podcast, and we're going to all share our thoughts and experiences. Linda is going to share her children's thoughts and experiences because she had them coach her, and Michael, you're going to fill it. You're going to kind of make up for it because Amanda was playing some indie games.
I'm always playing some indie game.
So she didn't have time. She was busy. So he's gonna help fill in the expertise. So let's just start with Amanda. You were playing some indie games. You showed us an indie game in the beginning of the show.
I did.
Tell us.
Because I had a hard time like trying to explain to you all the game that I was playing. Because I was like, I don't know. Let's just stop it. I'll just stream my screen.
Yes.
That's exactly what I did as we were waiting for Linda. Yeah. So I
came in from bringing the kids to karate. Sorry about that.
That's right. No, it's all good. It's all good. No worries at all. So I picked up this game. I'm constantly going on indie buying sprees like all the time. I'm like, oh, that's on sale. Oh, that's on sale. Oh shoot, I'll get that. Oh yeah, I love that. I'll play that maybe one day on my Steam Deck. So I have been playing a lot of indie games lately, as per usual. But I got really hooked on this game called Panorama, which I picked up during Steam Next Fest as a demo, and I was really psyched about it. This game, I don't know if you've ever played a game like Dorf Romantic, or you all have heard me talk about. I love Dorf Romantic, and you all have heard me talk about Terra Nil. These kinds of like simulation building simulation games. It's like they're almost city builders, but not quite. Because these are the kinds of games where you are looking to maximize your points, unlock the next piece of the map, or unlock the next, in this case, in Panorama, you're trying to unlock buildings, like new buildings that you can build that will give you better capabilities to accumulate points and everything like that. So I was on a spree of a lifetime tonight in Panorama. Normally I only get to like maybe 2,000. Tonight I got to 13,000 with all of my point optimization all over my maps. So it's a ton of fun, and it's very, very relaxing, unlike playing Jedi Fallen Order, which is the other game I'm playing right now. So that game is not relaxing. That game, I am currently fighting an Inquisitor, and let me tell you, it is unrelaxing.
But you're loving every minute.
Pain. It is pain. I honestly, this weekend, I said to Mike, like, I am way not smart enough for this game. I was like rolling around. I was being terrible at it. And I'm like, I suck at Souls-like games, guys. I'm so bad at it. And then I finally figured it out. And I was just like, oh, this game's actually great. Look at me go. This is awesome. I'm doing so good. Look at me. Then 3 hours went by and I realized that on Mother's Day. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is what I did today. So I've been playing games that are not The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
That's okay. I guess I am remiss to say Happy Mother's Day, belated, but I said it to you both on the actual day. But now there's video evidence. Happy Mother's Day to Linda and Amanda and to Jeff's wife Jessie. Happy Mother's Day and happy Mother's Day to my wife. I said it to her on the actual day.
I even said it to Jenna through you.
You did. So I just want video as evidence because there's some people that would accuse me of being forgetful because I am. So I just like to cover my butt. You know what I mean?
That's understandable.
So
consider your butt covered.
Thank you. That's the advantage of having like a video podcast. You know what I mean? Like I have it on lock. When I do something on here, everybody knows. So, so that's Panorama. I mean, listen, I really like the idea of this game, and so I might have to play it. Here's my question about your indie buying sprees, and Michael, if you want to chime in here because you might know this too, how long does the average game stay on your wish list? Like when you put a game on your Steam wish list, what's its lifespan?
A long time. A long time. Honestly, because I have so many games on my wish list because I'm paying attention to I use my wish list sort of as a trend marker too to see like what's trending over on the wholesome game side.
Oh, so
Because I'll watch the wholesome snack or I'll watch the wholesome games showcase, and like every game goes on my wish list and then it stays there. So it depends. If it's a game I really, really want, I usually wait until it comes out. And usually when games launch, they tend to launch with like a 10% discount, which is pretty normal on Steam. So I'll usually buy like games I really want at the beginning, and then I'll see if there's anything else on sale and I'll bundle it up and I'll maybe spend $50 on like 3 or 4 different games. And like that's cool because I love that. But for games that I'm kind of middling on, or there are, I don't know, they are not going to come out for like 2 or 3 years. Like they stay on there for a long time.
Okay. I just had this I had this image in my head that it was like a revolving door. That it was like,
No.
you know, where it was like, nope, they're in, oh, they're out, oh, they're in,
Nope.
oh, they're out. Okay.
No, if I was still a journalist, it probably would be in and out very quickly because I'd be requesting codes a lot, but I don't. So I just tend to wait, which is no big deal.
Okay. All right. I have like 4 games on my wish list. I don't use my Steam wish list appropriately. I have like 4 games on there, and at this point, I should probably like clear them out and replace them because like
I have 102.
Wow.
I
That's
have
smaller
40.
than it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask my husband how many he has on his wish list.
I just sent mine out. I'm down to 172. I sent it way down.
That's it.
Now,
We use wish lists
Okay, here's my question.
very, very,
Here's my
very
question.
well.
Here's my question. What's really cool is obviously, objectively, neither of us are doing the wish list thing wrong because we're using them for our own personal reasons. But I like to think that what you guys are doing is making me feel like I'm using it incorrectly. Like I feel like I should be more aggressively wish listing things, and so I'm going to endeavor to get that wish list from like 4 to like maybe 10. I don't know.
So I got mine down a lot. With Steam, there is a company called Fanatical, as well as Humble Games and all those other ones. Fanatical has a browser plugin, and it will sync to your Steam wish list, and you can find more discounts for the budget gamers. So
you know what? I should use it more. I mean, one thing I should do is clean it out because I'm like the 3rd time they send me the notification that a particular game is on sale. I should probably be like, you know what? I'm not going to buy this, and just move on. But I digress. Movie news. We're not a movie podcast, but how about this for movie news? Both Dungeons and Dragons and the Super Mario movie are on digital platforms right now. In fact, Dungeons and Dragons is on Paramount Plus just today. So if you're watching this,
Yep.
Awesome. That movie is fantastic. If you haven't seen it yet,
So good.
get thee to see it.
Here's my question. Did I read that it underperformed? Am
Really?
I crazy? I think I read that it underperformed. What I'm really hoping is that, number one, that I misread that. But if I did read it correctly, I'm really hoping that it gets like, I don't know, like Big Lebowski'd or something. And like,
I think
It's like your
only got
opinion, man.
no, I just want to. Well, I mean,
I think everything is underperforming lately because, like, Super Mario has only been out for a month,
yeah.
and it's already streaming. Like, everything's getting pulled quick. They want that 100 million right away, and then we don't need to. And that's what's suffering with the movies right now. Not that I'm a big fan of the movie studios, but like everything's like in and out. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be Ant-Man's already on Disney Plus. Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be out by like 4th of July. Like, there's no point in, like, everything's in and out.
Ant-Man comes out next week. Disney Plus is really increasing their windows on release dates now. But I did just look it up on Box Office Mojo. Dungeons and Dragons has made 203, almost 204 million worldwide.
Okay, I wonder how much their budget was. It was probably
Ant-Man's tomorrow. Ant-Man's tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's another movie.
I saw the ad on my Google TV, so, like, I thought it was out already.
We occasionally force Amanda to put on her business hat for the video games. We're not going to do it for the movies. I hope that Dungeons and Dragons is successful enough that we get a sequel. That's all I want. I want a sequel because I'm very convinced that they could just keep making.
We deserve it.
And honestly, the cast deserves it because they did a really good job.
They did.
They did a really good job of bringing one of my favorite games of all time to life. So, and Super Mario is available right now on to purchase or rent on digital platforms. It is very expensive, but that's just how it is on the digital platforms. It's going to be available physically later on this year. You can already pre-order all the special editions. You can get a vinyl copy of the soundtrack, which actually, let's be honest, that's kind of cool.
It is really cool.
I don't have any way to play vinyl, but like I kind of want one. And
that's fair.
So you can Best Buy, the Walmart, the Target, the places that you pre-order the technology. If you want it, you can get it. Super Mario made $1 billion and pieced out. Now they're gonna go do the same on home video. And that game is gonna be on hella repeat at my nephew's house as soon as that's available anywhere that they can buy. Okay. Everything else video game related is for the adults, and we don't need that. They can adulting later. Let's talk about Tears of the Kingdom. I'll go last. We'll have our honored guest go first. Sir, how has your experience in Tears of the Kingdom been so far?
That's me. I'm the guest.
You're the guest. Yep.
You know, it's funny, as I have not been playing my Nintendo. I've been on my Steam Deck. I've been on my PC, and I was scared to like go to the Nintendo. I was worried, like it's not going to perform well. I'm not going to like the hand feel, and I am just over the moon with this game. I did not expect it to just sell me so hard, and it's been such a nice change to be like, I'm playing this game because it's on the Nintendo and it's fun, and there's no achievement story about. I'm not like I've been playing Octopath Traveler 2, and I've been playing Jedi and Midnight Suns and all these other games that I'm playing because I want to play them for the achievements. And what a relief it is to be like, this is a fun Nintendo game, and if I do something, it's because I think it'll help me get further in the game, or it's because I'm going to enjoy it, or I'm going to do it for the storyline reason, and I'm not caring if it's going to give me a Chibo on some server, which I always miss that about Nintendo, and I always forget about it a year later when I haven't played the Nintendo for a minute. But it's great. It's so great. And I was talking to my friend, who was always an anti-Zeldite. He says, I don't get it. I told him, no, this game is Elden Ring combined with Pilot Wings. We haven't played Pilot Wings in a long time, but Pilot Wings is like one of my childhood games. Like, why haven't they been making things like this? And it just feels so good.
Pilot Wings is a deep cut, babe.
It just feels so good every time you fall or dive, and it's so aerial. And I think one of the early criticisms I heard people say, like, oh god, they're gonna bring Zelda back to Hyrule, and they're gonna reuse the map. They're so cheap, they're so lazy, and none of that is true. Like, Hyrule's back. It's the same world, but it all feels new. It's all been smashed up and rearranged, and the paths are different, and there's a new mountain here, and this lava's gone, and this wind is here, and it's all new but the same. It feels familiar. It feels like you're returning somewhere you were 6 years ago, and you meet characters and like, oh, it's Link. I can't believe you're back. Like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. I did a quest for him 6 years ago when I played this last. But it all feels so great to return, and you're here and you're back in this experience again, and you're revisiting these different characters, and you're meeting these new people, and you don't miss the old powers yet because the new ones are so great. And I'm not used to podcasting, so I'm not sure how long I should talk. I could talk forever about that.
Well, we're gonna have some more direct questions. That's good. That's good.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Good. That was a way to kick it off for us, Jeff, my friend from the Frozen North, a fellow Breath of the Wild enjoyer. Tell me, how has your time with Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom been?
So I was super excited to play this game because when I played Breath of the Wild, I played it on Wii U. So I couldn't afford, didn't have a Switch at the time, so this is my first time playing it on the Switch. The Zelda game like this on the Switch, and I'm loving it. In fact, I was texting you, Steven, before I came out, and like, I'm really nervous because I had some points off on Amazon. I'm like, I'm going to pre-order on Amazon. The last time I pre-ordered a game on Amazon was Breath of the Wild, and they delayed it by a month, and I ended up canceling it and just getting it at GameStop. I'm so glad Amazon delivered on this.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really shocked. I'm super shocked when you said that you had Amazon. Like when you said that you had pre-ordered from Amazon, I was like, oh no, but hey, they came through for you. So how
they came through? It arrived on my doorstep the day of delivery while I was at work. It was there when I got home. I was so nervous because I haven't ordered a new game from Amazon pre-ordered since Breath of the Wild.
Same.
So.
Same. Well, okay. I pre-order everything except Nintendo games from them because I have told the story of Breath of the Wild and my Switch and Amazon far too many times. I'll save it, but yeah, I still won't. I didn't trust it. I went out. I went out at 6:30 in the morning on Friday, and went to Walmart, and so I'll tell the story in a minute. So you have it. This is your first Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom experience on Switch, and you enjoyed it?
I am. I love the Up in the Sky. I just since we do know there are dungeons, I just got done beating the first dungeon I decided to go towards. I beat that yesterday. And it's so interesting how I'm going through, it's been 6 years since I've played Breath of the Wild. Like it was way harder for me to go back and play Breath of the Wild than most people who played it on the Switch because I would have to hook up my Wii U. And if I remember correctly, my Wii U gamepad doesn't charge correctly, and I don't know where the charging cord is.
I mean, not knowing where the charging cable would probably impact the charging. No.
Yes, it sits up there on my shelf as a decoration now with
works.
all my other Nintendo consoles.
That works.
And so. But I'm going through, and I chose to go towards the Rito first, and like people are talking to me, and I'm like, wow, hey, I remember you, and they're mentioning things that happened before. I'm not going to go into details, but how it's changed and how they make it such a new experience where you're not just rehashing the same old thing.
Yeah. All right. I mean,
yeah, it's so good.
I mean, I agree with what both of y'all are saying. Linda, so you don't,
Yes.
you have not played it yourself, because
Correct.
this is not necessarily your jam. However,
Though my eldest tells me he thinks I could.
I know that you can do anything you put your mind to, Linda.
That's true, but he thinks it's a good beginner game. So interesting. My eldest says because of the way the tutorial is, because of the way they lead you in slowly, he thinks this is actually a good beginner game because of that. That's his opinion.
Okay, yeah, because I do want to hear what your boys have to say. I'll be honest, I kind of disagree with him a little, but we'll talk about
And that's okay.
I'll share my opinions later.
That's
So
totally valid.
What's up with your two sons?
Oh my goodness, they love it. We only have one Switch and one copy of the game, so they are having to take turns making progress in their own account and under their own saves, which has been a little bit challenging, but they're working it out. They really, really like the game. They're liking all the things in the sky. They're loving how the map towers are different. They are loving the difference with the Sheikah slate, how it is not a Sheikah slate. I don't know how much is considered spoiler, so I'm afraid to say much.
I mean, you don't have a Wii U anymore. You have a Switch. I mean, there's just really no other way to describe it. That's all we'll really say.
So,
you don't have a Wii U anymore. Now you have a Switch.
Yep. They talked about some things with Pora. Again, I don't want to say much because I don't know how much would be considered spoilers. So they just talked about they liked some things that were presented early on about Pora. And some of the things they noticed, they really like combining stuff. They were talking a lot about things that they built, and they were explaining to me about how if you're attaching something, you can break it, you get to keep your original item, but the thing that you found on the ground or whatever goes away. when that makes sense, that it breaks. So they were explaining some of the mechanics with that, but they are having a blast with it, and really enjoying the different elements they've gone through, and kind of where the story's taken them so far.
Awesome. Mr. Tomlinson, how has your time with Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom been?
So I'm gonna preface with this. It really feels like the Breath of the Wild was just like first generation. And this is just, they learned all their lessons, they saw what the community did with the toys, and then gave you better toys. And said, go to town. Like, oh, you could move metal stuff around. Now you could move around like 90% of the environment. Like, every single thing they did was an iteration on what we got in Breath of the Wild. And then the like we've all said, the levelity of it, where you have the underground, you have the regular map, and then you have up in the air, and all of that just comes together, and it's like poetry. Like it just keeps on. There was things where in the first game where like I just wandering, the music comes up, it swells a little, and I'm like, what's going on? And I look up, there's just a dragon flying over my head.
You know, as one does.
It's like a pretty kite.
Yeah. I rode that dragon in this game. Like, there's so many crazy things you could do, and like the the fact that you could just be running along, being surrounded by people, and then just find a cliff to get under, and then nope up through the cliff, like, and then get away, like just stupid stuff like that. And then the stupid way you could figure out ways out of puzzles that there was no intention for it to work that way. Like there's been a lot of articles like in the last day or so where people are just making bridges that go through the whole thing just to do stupid stuff. Like the kind of stuff I should have taken more pictures. That's my only regret because I haven't been streaming this because sometimes I'll play during my work break. But like the stupid ways you get out of things now, where you just I don't want to do that puzzle stuff. Let's just get past that. It's so much more fun.
In the very early shrines, they give you a lot of puzzles where you're supposed to just take a bunch of trees and stick them together and make bridges. And then I feel like it makes you want to do that for the rest of the game, even though you're
exactly.
Listen, I mean,
it's helpful for people like me who are not creative or very good engineers, as I have found out with some of the stuff I've built.
Yeah.
When you're trying to boat across a lake and your boat's just going in a circle because you placed the fan in the wrong spot.
Oh no,
I mean,
that would be me if I play.
I found a jet ski controller for my last raft that lets you steer it, even though there's no rudder. It steers anyway. Like that is a cool upgrade. I'm so excited to see that.
yeah.
I tried to make a hot air balloon the other day, and I found out using the fire, don't have a wooden base because then everything just catches on fire. And then my hot air balloon.
I did that in the shrine and failed 3 times until I figured out a stupid way to get around it, and I just did the stupid thing.
My stupid thing was there was a metal base right next to it, but stupid me chose the wooden one.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, listen, it'd be like that. All right, so I'm going to share my thoughts, and then we'll go through and we'll ask. We're just going to keep going around the circle with some more questions. So, if Linda thinks that her boys have had it hard, let me just say we in this house only have one copy of the game. We have many, many Switches. That is not an issue, but we only bought one copy of the game. Because it's $70. I mean, that's the harsh reality of this. It is a very expensive game, and because multiplayer is not an important component. Like with Animal Crossing, we bought 3 copies of that game because all 3 of our kids were going to be able to play, and they did. But this is a single player experience, so I was like, you know what, guys, we're just going to take turns. We agreed to 2 hours at a clip. And It was very challenging to do your 2 hours and then be done knowing that you had to wait 4 for your turn to come up. Our oldest he quote unquote got smart and figured out a way around this and just played all night Friday night and napped for an hour. And the problem is he didn't realize that the next day he was going to be too tired to play. So he just lost all of Saturday because he didn't pace himself correctly. So that's the challenges that we've been having in this house. But man, I echo everything that everybody else said. For me, I really like that this is a game where I don't have to figure out one solution. I'm really not great at puzzles, but here I don't really have to puzzle out like the answer. I just need to figure out one that works. And it may not be exactly what the doctor ordered. It could be janky as all get out. It could be absolutely stupid. It could make my wife look at me and go, "What are you cooking?" Like, regularly my wife will look up from her book and be like, "I don't know why you're bothering trying to do this puzzle this way." And somehow I managed to like jank my way through it. And that makes me feel so smart because I feel like I'm just the first person on earth to solve the puzzle this way, knowing full well that is not true. The one thing is I actually really do miss my old toys. Specifically, I miss my infinite bombs. Because the infinite bombs from the first game are gone. They've been replaced by bomb flowers, which is a good thing for balance. But the reality is I am not great at combat. And so I regularly cheesed every fight by just hucking bombs at dudes. That was like my answer to every Bokoblin camp was just infinite bomb spam. And now they're making me actually play the game.
How dare they?
How dare they? How dare? Oh, look at that.
Rude, quite frankly.
Rude. Yeah, exactly. Quite frankly, rude. So, but you know what? Even with them making me play the game, I'm loving every second of it. I made a monster truck, and I ran over a bunch of Bokoblins, and then a duck or something. It was a bird. I ran over a bird, collected the meat, then ran over some Bokoblins. I'm just loving every like weird, silly little experiment and thing. And I'm loving the fact that we have 3 players in this house, and at this point, all 3 of us are doing wildly different things. And none of us really feel like we're behind, or like my oldest has gone through a little bit more of the story than I have. But my middle son has better weapons, and I've got more shrines because I'm actively seeking them out. And so we're doing such different stuff, but we're all playing the same game. It's like very recognizable, and I'm like, oh man, I remember where that was. This game is great. It's going to be hard not to recommend it. So the question that I have for you guys, and we can just go quick, James. Not James. What do I call you, sir? Other than
I have too many names. James is my spy name. I'm good with either one.
Okay.
Your spy name.
Your spy name. I don't want to actually government name you. I don't want to be that guy. So, sir, how many hours have you played so far? Is what I want to know. We're just gonna go real quick around the room. How many hours?
I gotta be more than 20.
too.
It must be like 25, 20, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so a good number. So, Jeff, how many hours?
I think I just looked it up. If I did the math correctly, about 12.
Okay. Linda, how many hours do you think your boys got in this weekend?
Oh, quite a bit because Eli played it most of Saturday and Sunday, and then Isaac's had it the last 2 days, so quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
I don't know for actual hours. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Tomlinson, he's checking right now. He's going to look
It's not telling me yet.
It's not telling you?
It's not telling me yet, but I'm going to say about 20, 25 hours. I played a lot on Saturday and Sunday, and a lot on Friday, and a little last night.
If I had my Switch, I could check for you because it will tell you how much your friends have played.
Yeah.
That's true.
Really?
So I'm probably looking for... So
You could probably look and see how much I've actually played.
Yeah, let me see.
So I'm looking at about 10. And so here's the thing, and I just want to point this out. We are all adults, except for Linda's kids. But Linda's, it was also the weather, whatever.
It's fine. They put a lot of hours in over the weekend. That's, and then after school. It's fine.
I feel, because it's obviously all going to balance out. We're all grown-ups with real jobs, doing real things. I think there's something to be said about the when a game comes out and it is super engaging, like this is, right? Like we've been waiting for this for 6 years, and I mean, how many times has Nintendo delayed it? And we've all put in, probably close to a combined 100 hours on this game. And by the end of next weekend, we'll definitely surpass that with this group. I just think that it's worth mentioning that this group of well-adjusted, I mean, everybody except me is well-adjusted. Grown-ups with real jobs.
So watch it.
I know. I gotta be careful. I don't want to take credit for stuff.
I work for a toy company.
That's true. But you do. I mean, that toy company.
Real jobs.
Real job. So I just want to point out. I just want to point out that it's okay to have the occasional binge, because I did see some rumblings on some Facebooks about kids going a little wild, and I just want to remind everybody that the last episode of Ted Lasso is going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, and a whole bunch of people are going to watch all 9 of those episodes in one weekend. And no one's going to say anything about that. But it happens to have a controller in their hand, and everybody loses their mind. So it's going to be okay.
You know what, Steven, if I can jump on my soapbox, I've actually had this conversation with people when they've said, you play so many video games, and I've always asked them, would you be saying the same thing if I had a book in my hand?
Yep.
They would
and
not.
I said, with a book, I am a passive viewer for the most part. Where with a video game, I'm more of an active viewer. I feel like more of my brain, and I love to read, and I love video games, and so that's usually my argument when it comes to something like that.
I think that is a good one. I mean, realistically, how many people binge whole seasons of Game of Thrones in a weekend and nobody thinks about it? Also, March Madness was in March. Man, I don't even want to think about how many hours people spent watching college basketball. This is a whole tangent we could go down. But I do think college basketball is probably a reasonable analog, and maybe we can explore that. Let's put a programming note in that for next March.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. So
it kind of goes up with the thing where people make fun of Comic-Con and dressing up. It's like, well, you go to a football game and wear your favorite player's jersey.
I mean, I would do that too if I was willing.
I do both.
Station. If I was willing to go to a football game, because it's too comfortable to watch them with cool, pretty graphics on my TV. Basically, it's just bad. Anyway, all right, more Zelda stuff. Without spoilers, I want to hear the craziest thing you have done so far. You go, Michael. What's the craziest thing you've done so far? Involving a combination of powers, whatever. I don't know. Tell me a story.
I was just doing that same dungeon, the Rito area, and there was so much climbing. You have to go so high, and it's just like you're up. And I did the same thing I'm constantly doing, where there's one answer, and I'm forgetting it. And I had this problem all the time in Portal, where I get stuck in Portal because like there's no way to solve this puzzle unless I could like teleport or something. I'm like, oh yeah, I have powers. I have Ascend. And I always forget Ascend. And I was like jumping off things and building machines and firing rockets and riding rockets, trying to climb this unscalable wall before I finally realized eventually you're supposed to just ascend up the dang thing. And I was like using like 12 stamina potions to climb this wall, and eventually comes up and it curves backwards. Like, this is not climbable. What am I doing wrong? I'm going to lose so much progress. And I just keep forgetting about
you kind of soft locked it a little bit.
I thought I was like so clever using like 11 different items and like building a hot air balloon and like, this is so high. Why can't I make this climb?
Okay. We do have a comment from Megamom. Megamom refound the angry flower lady and made her mad again. So apparently the angry flower lady's there. It's not gonna be not forgiven.
Nice.
Jeff, what is the craziest thing you have done?
Right before we started recording, I got knocked off a mountain by a moose.
Listen.
Well, I think it was more of the Lizol. I was trying to hunt the moose, and
I'm at home with that statement.
one arrow is not enough to hunt a moose, and it makes it angry.
Yes, that is correct.
Sounds about right.
The combination of a moose and a Lizolphos is not a good combination.
Nope, that is not.
And I'll say one more real quick. Another funny thing that happened to me is Lizolphos from the back, they look like Ritos if you're not paying attention. And I'm like, oh, there's an NPC. I need to talk to them. And the guy just turns around and just stabs me with a spear.
Bye. Okay. Linda,
Deuces.
Have you watched your sons play at all?
Not much because they're mostly doing handheld, so
Oh,
I
that's
don't
right,
get to
that's right.
see.
They're like keeping stuff secret. All right, so we'll move on
That's
to
fair.
John.
Sorry,
John.
I don't have anything on that.
It's okay, John. I have some funny stories from watching my kids. Tomlinson, go. What's the funniest?
So,
what's the wildest thing?
In
you've done?
so in the opening, you have to get like each power in the plateau type area in this style of the game, and I thought I was stuck, and then I realized, well, I got the area where the fans are, and then I have a floating thing,
Okay.
and I janked my way by just pushing that flying thing over and over and over again and just inched my way all around to complete the plateau type area. And I did sink a lot of time into it, but it was really cool to realize that you could do anything you want to do, just figure it out. Like, you could brute force your way through any puzzle if you're patient enough.
Yeah.
And that's why I did. Yeah. Because I thought I was stuck. So
the wildest thing that happened in our house has to be my oldest son built a hot air balloon. He built it so carefully. It was just this gorgeously constructed. It had a nice little wooden basket. You know, like it just looked great. I was very impressed. And then he put the flamethrower in upside down.
Oh no!
And so he was like, and my wife and I were watching. We were like, wow, this is actually a really impressive hot air balloon. And this was kind of like one of the first times my wife was really understanding like how the building worked, and that building was like not just a thing, but it was like a thing, like with a capital T.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, look at this thing I built. And then he put the flamethrower in upside down, and he hit it, and it just collapsed into the ground.
Oh man!
And he just the look he gave me, like he just turned around and the look he gave me of like abject defeat was like
Game betrayed.
he
It
was
betrayed.
Like, oh man, he was like, oh, this is so rough. Now, I will say, my achievement is that I somehow managed to get the Bokoblin mask. I found the guy.
yeah.
So the masks are in the game again, and I found it. And man, does it make my game so much more dumb? Because now
I found it too, and I haven't even thought to use it yet.
I mean, I never
Me
used
neither.
them in Breath of the Wild. The idea of these monster masks is that they think you are one of them, so they just ignore you,
Oh.
and so you can just like hang out with the Bokoblins. And I'm presuming there are masks for other critters. I haven't found those yet. It's also surprisingly really good armor. Interesting fact. And so that's my claim to fame is that I'm the only person in the house that has found that, and I could never recreate it because I don't know where I was. So my sons are like, "Oh man, where is that? Tell me where it is." And I'm like, "Listen, dude, I'm not trying to be cheeky. I legit have no idea where I was. It's just like I saw a thing and I went to it."
We're old. We're forgetting where stuff is.
Dude,
Like,
I'm
IGN.
Yeah, exactly.
Go look at their guide. Like,
Write it down. That's what I do.
I think the main town directs you to where those brothers hang
yeah,
out.
but I'm not gonna go again. I already got the thing. I don't care about everybody else. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not making a guide for people. So
So all right. So that's just some of the wild stuff we have. I will say my middle son is an absolute bonkers at this game. The way he fights and the way like the combat is his specialty, and he is so good. It's frightening how good he is at this game. And again, we engage with the game so differently because like I avoid combat. It's a stealth action game for me. For him, he's just running headlong Leroy Jenkins at every fight and wins. It's the craziest thing. And so all right. So, two more questions. We're gonna go around. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, has anyone created some crazy weapon, or is that one of your questions?
Well, my next two questions are gonna be about combinations, and then the last one is I'm not gonna really waste a question on do we recommend it. I mean, is there anyone here that doesn't think someone that likes video games should play Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom? Like, raise your hand if you think this is a game that probably shouldn't be played. Anybody? Good. Okay, we just got that out of the way. I don't know. I don't know if maybe Amanda was going to raise her hand and be like, "Well, it's not indie
Actually.
enough for me."
No, I am not going to do that. I am not a voice of dissent here. I just simply have not played it.
Amanda, I'm being sassy. I'm
gonna get you.
I'm a jerk. You know that. So, okay. Here's the thing. The one thing I do want to say is, in regards to whether or not this is a game, like an intro game, because this is something, and I want to, this is going to be a question maybe we can all give some quick answers to. If someone has never played, should they play this first, or should they play Breath of the Wild first?
Breath of the Wild.
I think Breath of the Wild is probably the right answer. I'm super intimidated by this tool set, and I played 100+ hours of Breath of the Wild, and I'm super intimidated by this tool set.
Yeah.
I don't know if so. Anyway, does anyone disagree with that?
I think you'd be fine to skip it if you didn't care about the story, but it does make sense to play the other one first. I actually just got my 10-year-old to play Breath of the Wild for the first time as I picked up this because she saw me playing this, and she says, "Oh, I want to play too." And we've been co-playing. She's been playing Breath of the Wild while I play Tears of the Kingdom on the same couch.
Speak of the devil.
There she is. Yeah.
Yes, this is the tiny devil herself that is currently playing Breath of the Wild.
I mean, listen.
Right?
This is the thing
right.
the thing that I've said to a few people is that this game does
Good night,
not
my
have
heart.
an expiration
Love
date,
you.
nor does it have a subscription fee. So you can beat this game slow. You can play other games. You can do all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
But I definitely think this is. I mean, this is clearly going to find its way onto the EFG Essentials list. I can't imagine a world where it doesn't. It's certainly going to be in the conversation for our game of the year, especially at the E10 Plus category. How wild is that? It's
for
not
sure.
even rated T. And so our
It's gonna be a conversation at the end of the year. Holy smokes!
Yeah,
well,
it is.
I mean, here's what's wild is I don't know that anything else that's E10 Plus has come out. Like, this is just going to be a walk-off home run in May. Because I mean, what else is coming? Because remember, all the sports
I'll have
games,
to think about it.
Forza is going to be rated E, unless they put like real-world gambling in there, and all of a sudden it's like, check us out, we're rated T. But probably not. So anyway, here is my last question. Let's talk about the powers. Right now, the 4 powers are Rewind, Ascend, Fuse, and Ultra Hand. What is your favorite power to use so far? Mike.
I'm first.
Yep.
You're the guest. I was thinking about this when you were talking about cheaping things out with infinite bombs. Did you know that you can kind of use Ultra Hand in combat?
You can.
A few times I've had this happen where a monster's like above me on a platform and I don't have enough arrows or I can't get a good angle. You pick up a box or a big spike ball and you Ultra Hand up there and you just go up there and you smack him around. He can't even see you. You're just beating him up with Ultra Hand items.
Yeah, you can.
It just does collision damage.
I have found that you can Ultra Hand items and then rewind the items to go through that same path and kite mobs through them and they take damage from it. If you're looking for a trick to cheese Hinoxes, do that because those things are scary. So
you can also use Ultra Hand to pet the dogs now.
You can?
Oh, I love when you can pet the critters in the games. It's so sweet.
The dog, there's some good dogs in here. But that's not the question. Is what's your favorite power? And I want to hear from the chat too.
For me, I'm all fusing. Fusing is so good. I'm constantly fusing every time I can. There's always something to fuse.
All right, Jeff, what's your favorite power so far?
Yeah, I'm going to say Fuse as well. It also helps with inventory management, especially with your weapons. And just the crazy things you can fuse, and you don't even think about it. The only thing I wish I could just take 2 things from my inventory and fuse them, but you have to, like, drop one and...
Yeah, I think the UI could use some work. Nintendo has never been known for their UIs.
I was going through a dungeon fighting... My weapon of choice was a claymore with a giant icicle on the end of it.
Oh, so you can freeze dudes. Okay. Linda, did the boys tell you what their favorite power was?
They were talking mostly about the one you guys started with, the mage.
The Ultra Hand?
The
Ultra Hand.
I keep wanting to say mage hand. I'm stuck in D&D world.
Wrong game.
Ultra Hand. Wrong game.
Close enough, though.
They were
Nailed
talking
it.
a lot about that.
I love it too.
I'm crossing my nerddoms. I'm sorry.
Oh, listen, if ever there was a podcast to do that, it's this one. And if you want to
It's
hear the
true.
other side of the nerddom, make sure to see.
Yeah,
Carl's
they were. That was
page.
the power they kept talking about in the car when we were driving. They
All right.
kept talking about in combat and doing all this. So clearly, what they are enjoying.
Tomlinson, what about you, my man?
I'm gonna agree with Ultra Hand. Ultra Hand is just it's the end all be all because you could get yourself anywhere. You could um I was making like platforms and just fly swatting bad guys with them.
Yeah. Oh, it's nuts.
Yeah, just stupid stuff like that.
So, I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian. That's never happened. Amanda be like, wow, that's never happened before.
What's it gonna be? Rewind?
No, you know what? I'm going to say Ascend. And here's why.
Okay.
Ascend is the power, and Michael talked about it, right? Like, it's the power you forget you have that is
Honestly.
absolutely insane. And I think, when we fast forward a bunch of years, because this game, Nintendo created a game that is designed to be experienced in the long form. We're going to be watching 21 things about Tears of the Kingdom that you didn't know yet videos. I'm going to be showing those on whatever TikTok is to my grandkids. I feel like all of the craziest things that we do are going to involve Ascend. I feel like that is the punctuation, the finishing move to everything because it is so ridiculous and overpowered. And I'm sure that as we speak, there is a subreddit of dudes walking every square of the map trying to ascend.
It works so much more than you'd expect it to. It just
Yeah.
I'm just imagining in my mind just walking all these squares and being like, it is now my time.
You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have like we're just gonna have like a heat map of Hyrule. These are
So Amanda, you haven't seen Ascend in action, have you?
I've only seen
like-
it on the trailer and in
Okay.
the 10-minute gameplay situation that I watched.
watch.
So you could
Michael-
cancel.
Oh yeah.
So you could go up, pop out, and then be like, no, never mind, go back down.
And then not?
Wait,
Yeah.
you can
Not?
nope out of it?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you could go back down.
What's really interesting is that it pauses when you get up there.
you come out of the ground halfway and you're like, is this the right place? And go back down.
Man, I wish I had that
Yeah.
skill when I was at LARP.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'd be like,
Right? Oh my god.
it is also of these powers the one that I wish I had in real life because man, my knees would be so much better if I could just ascend
Oh, yeah.
to my bedroom. So that is, I feel like that's the finishing move. That's the end of the combo. It's just so cool, and what's frustrating is it's the one that I forget about all the time because
Yeah.
my sons will do a thing and I'll be like, "How'd you do that?" And they'll be like, "We just ascended." So
Yeah.
that is that. So we have Mega Mom in the chat. She said she's having a lot of fun with Fuse and Ultra Hand. She just got down to the surface, so she's still figuring it out. We will ask her next week because I'm presuming that she will continue to play this game. That's a wild guess that Mega Mom will play a little bit more.
No, I'm done with it. I've played my 20 hours.
So,
I'm not gonna play, 150 of this one too.
yeah. Ev, what's your favorite Tears of the Kingdom power? You gotta answer
Probably
it.
Ultra Hand because I can just make cool stuff with it.
Yeah, all right. So we got an Ultra Hand. I mean, I think all of them are really cool. I just think Ascend is the one that I think in the future, it's like every cool video is going to be do all these things, stupid combo, Ascend. Fuse and Ultra Hand are getting all the attention right now, but I think Ascend is going to do some crazy stuff. So
Well, I think the novelty of all the creation you can do with it too.
yeah. Mega Mom said she wishes she could see how many hours she played of Breath of the Wild. Easily 1,000. She gets so she's gonna get a lot of use out of this one. Mega Mom hunted down them Korok seeds.
Oh yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
That was a legendary journey that Mega Mom went on.
I loved every second of it that I was not doing because I don't have the patience. It's pure force of will that she did. So, guys, we did it. We spent a podcast, probably the first of many, let's be very honest, talking about Tears of the Kingdom. I promise everybody that's watching / listening, that we will not dedicate entire podcasts. We'll just have a little check-in. As we go through.
Every 2 weeks for the rest of the year.
Every couple of weeks. Michael, thank you for joining us today. It was really cool having you. And
It was really nice.
Yeah,
That was me.
so
come
it
on
was great.
anytime.
Yeah, it was great. And obviously, Jeff and Amanda and John and Linda, I always appreciate the 4 of you. But I say that all the time. Yeah, here's the check-in, Tomlinson, with the Legos. All right, so we got... Oh, be careful with it. I'm always nervous when people do that because I'm worried that the thing's going to break. I don't want you to break your Lego, man. I don't want you to break your Lego. Hey, I even said it
New
correctly.
color.
I didn't say Legos. Give me some props. I said
Lego bricks.
correctly. I said it correctly. I don't want you to break your Lego. Linda, thank you very much. Your camera is off. I'm guessing something's busted.
Oh no. Yeah, something went awry with
So
I don't even
you're
know.
just going to have to post a picture of your progress.
Darn, you
on
have to
Engaged
check out the
Family Gaming
Instagrams.
community. Yep.
I did get to change color yarn. I ran out of another skein.
All right, wow. All right. Well, this is like a temperature map kind of blanket.
Almost.
It's just kind of going. So, everybody, this has been one more episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. This year is going so very fast. It's almost summertime, which means it's almost 10th anniversary celebration time. So, keep your eye on us. All of the celebrations are going to start July 1. We're going to let our first year pass, but then the entire month of July is going to be all sorts of really cool stuff. So be ready for that. We'll be back next week for another episode of Coils of Fate, because they unleashed an ancient evil. So
Oh boy.
We didn't mean to.
It was like totes.
It was by accident.
That's every D&D party ever. We didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Oops,
I swear I'm innocent. I am here for culinary magic, people.
Oh,
So I did it again.
we have Kahi in the chat saying that she totally meant to unleash the ancient.
I totally meant to.
Well, there's the honesty there.
She did it. I mean, you know what? If you, I mean, it be like that sometimes. So if you want to hear what we're talking, if you want to know what the heck we're talking about, please join us next Monday for another episode of our Dungeons and Dragons live play podcast. If you really want to get all caught up, they're all up on our YouTube channel. So everybody, I hope you have a wonderful night. We will be back next time. And until then, don't forget to get your family game on. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.